Or I could just review season 3 right now because I already saw it. Right. So, season 3 of the show, well, it picked the show back up, in my opinion, because this season had a much better job of incorporating and repeating story arcs and various conflictional questions on, like what is the proper way to treat people, who's the bad guy, the trust issues that are going on, developing character story arcs, having conflicts take place, and having a longer season, but it did it a lot better because I gotta be honest, this season is longer than season 2, and for most of it, I didn't really feel that bothered by the fact that they had all these storylines going on because it definitely did feel faster paced than a season 3. It did kind of drag in later episodes, but you got the idea that it was building up to something, and yeah, it did build up to something, alright. And I also love the fact that we got, multiple locations in this movie, TV show, because we've got Rick and everybody at the prison, and then we've got Andrea, and I can't pronounce her name no matter how many times they say it, the black chick at Woodsville dealing with the governor, and all that stuff. Just, I'm real impressed by that. You would have figured that would have hurt the show. It didn't hurt the show at all. I really can't complain that much about it. And like even handling major characters, we have characters be built up to be major in this season, or have major characters from previous seasons, and then a couple of them end up dying because like T-Dog dies, Lori dies, Andrea dies, the governor's lieutenant, Milton, guy with the glasses, dies, but all of them either got a build-up or exited for a darn good purpose, because T-Dog, when he first got scratched, I was like, ah crap, another cheap death, even though I did expect it, because I could tell from the tone and how frenzied the walkers were being that more than likely somebody would die on Rick's team. But then how he sacrifices himself to draw a couple of walkers away from Carol, that made up for it right there. Pretty heroic of the guy, huh? Nice. And then Lori. You may think that it's a little stupid, but at the same time it makes logical sense. So, yeah, she went out for a purpose, and I love the fact that she was actually able to give birth, although of course, that has the extra dynamic of having to get food for a baby, because obviously you don't have the mother to provide natural milk. Yeah. And then Milton, he goes out for a purpose. Right. And one thing that I'm real glad that this season did was bring back Merle back, because throughout season 2 I was like, where the heck is he? Because you gave a darn good implication that he was still alive and that he had escaped the building, but then you don't have him appear the entire season. Now I know that other shows leave the possibility for major characters to still be alive and they don't address him, but the thing was, throughout season 2, Daryl constantly stated that he was going to go after his brother, but never really seemed to, even though Rick did try to talk him out of it. Just the way that they kept bringing him up, I got the idea that they were leaving it purposely unresolved. So I was like, okay, you can't just leave it very anonymous like Stargate Atlantis did for that black guy. I totally forget his name now. You're actually going to have to give a resolution as to whether or not Merle here is alive or dead. So having him actually come back and interact with the group, again, I was real glad that we got to that, even though it did add moments where I'm like burying my face because I'm like, you're sabotaging Rick and his team, come on. Yeah, but I was glad that they did that, and also it did add a nice dynamic to Daryl, because like in season 1, I thought that he was just as bad as his brother. The issue was he hadn't physically tried to attack anybody yet, but season 2, I was looking at him and I go, you know, he has potential to actually really help this group out. He just hasn't really reconciled the fact that, one, going after his brother probably isn't the smartest idea, and that also it's most likely not going to turn out well for the group, because I know that like, having like a negative mentality is not really a good thing, but the thing is, if you start to I would think that if you start to kind of lower your standards in this situation, it actually helps you cope with them. So he was able to lower his standards by the beginning of this season, and then had no problems with helping anyone out, because he's just going through that prison, and then he finds Kel, and he's just like, oh, phew, yeah, come on, let's get you out of here. He wouldn't have done that in season 1, but here, yeah. And that was a real touching moment when he actually kind of had to kill his brother, because the thing was, even though they were constantly at odds with each other, it is his brother, because like I argued with my brother growing up all the time. I'm the older brother, although you would think he is, because of how he behaves socially, but yeah, if he became, I really, okay, sorry that I'm doing this to you, Dan, but if he became like, a cold stoner, I'd just look at him and go, what happened to you, man? Just, Well, a touching moment, kind of hit home. Yeah. So I do feel like there's more I could say about this season, but I think you guys get the idea. It was way better than season 2, and I'm really looking forward to see where the show goes with now. Although I don't totally like how they completely ended the governor's storyline, because I mean, like, okay, that was a nice bit to do where he kills pretty much everybody at the end of the season, but just, you need to give a little bit more closure to him, especially since his lieutenant stuck with him. All it would have taken was, one extra line of dialogue to say, like, we need to regroup or something, and then you just feel a little bit better about that, because leaving it completely anonymous with him not saying anything, yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention how Andrea's deaf. Yeah. Ooh, I was real sorry to see her go, because she had gone through so much, and she actually had managed to free herself, and then she just can't kill him in time. Just, yeah, I was kind of disappointed by that, but in a way, it does help resolve it a lot better, because let's face it, there was a part of Rick you could tell that still didn't completely trust her, then how she apologizes to him, yeah. So it's a bummer to lose her, but there are other characters, because they got that big strong black guy and I think his sister, so yeah, because like I got the idea that they were highlighting them to be recurring characters, so even though she goes out, she is replaced, so it's not all bad. Definitely looking forward to seeing more, but I'm going to put this show on hold for a little bit.